All right, so got another Seth video. Intravenous 2. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Um, Collateral edition. Now, is he talking about the movie Collateral? I've seen thumbnails of this when I looked this up, so I don't know what's going on here. But yeah, we are just going to get started, and I'm already scared.
Hey people,
Hey.
Seth here. Considering I'm recording from the Balkan equivalent of City 17, the quality of this video may be just as bad as anything else I release. There's a rare coincidence that happens once and almost never. A publisher approaches
Oh,
me to
I was
cover
about to
something
say.
that I'm already reviewing. Developed by a
Oh,
single man in Lithuania, Intravenous 2 is one of the best tactical shooters I've ever played.
Intravenous?
Many of the events presume you've played Intravenous 1, which isn't a problem because he remastered the whole thing in the second engine. So we start from there by playing the first game inside the second game, or else it doesn't make sense. Steve is a normal
Okay.
man living in the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth in
What
an
is this?
alternative history
Okay.
where Lithuania has reached the Bronze Age. Polish innovation has endowed them with working toilets and knowledge of coal-based energy. Aesthetically and
Okay.
thematically, this game is colostomy core. After a night of heavy drinking, Steve walks through a shady alleyway with his brother before being attacked by junkies. His brother goes into a coma and dies the following night. The police find nothing, so Steve decides to take matters into his own hands. Welcome to Intravenous. You're outgunned and
Okay. I don't like how this is only a minute in. He just gave me a lot of lore. I didn't know this game was going to be like this, like the whole top-down perspective. I might actually hold on. Where are you, Steam? I might actually get this. I was thinking about re-downloading. Yeah, I was thinking about re-downloading the Final Fantasy. Oh, it's only 13? Remaster? Don't play sound. You're gonna play fucking sound. Alright, it's paused. Cool. Cool. Um. Oh! Oh, hey, people, limited time bundle. Hey! Okay. What do you mean complete my collection? I don't even fucking own this. Okay. I might have to snag this. All right. I'll add that to the cart. Yeah. All right. Cool. That's hilarious, by the way.
now numbered. Everything makes a sound, and a single unsuppressed trigger pull is loud enough to alert the entire level. So, unless you want your chest ventilated, you better be quiet. Druggy Ghetto, also known as the car park in East England. The first level serves as a tutorial to get your bearings.
Okay.
Arguably, normal difficulty is a 10-hour tutorial before you're ready to play the actual game. Mouse
What?
wheel controls your movement speed, allowing you to instantly change across different stances. The faster you are, the more sound you make. At free notches, where's the
Understandable.
compromise? And able to get the jump on enemies. Don't fall for my mistake. Notches 1 and 2 are marginally better, but the only reason you'd use them is if you're wearing Kevlar in a plate carrier, in which case, you're not going to make it. Approaching someone from behind lets you perform a stealth takedown.
Okay,
Pressing
so
E
this is
chokes
walking
them out,
simulator?
which can transition to snapping their neck with Q, or you can just cut their throat. This is much quicker,
Ooh.
but makes them bleed out, which is a problem, as we often have to dispose of the evidence by dragging their body, and a bloody corpse leaves a bloody trail. You could choose to leave them
Oh.
unconscious at your discretion, which is incredibly noble, unless things go south and their friends find the bodies. Wake them up and undo all of your efforts. In a Steve campaign, there's no reason to spare anyone, so I usually stack up the bodies and make up a backstory for why they should live or die. He didn't choose this life. He probably has a family. He paid $10,000 for a commission of Tali Zoravas Normandy, inflated, larger than the solar system.
Ah!
Hiding
Yeah,
bodies
yeah,
is a
he
fine
deserved
art.
to die
Dark
for that.
alleyways conceal your wet work. Dumpsters.
I'm sorry. Again, I don't like how his name is my name for Steve. I don't like that. It's so generic. Unless he made the name up when he started this, but whatever, right? I just want to comment. I am a big fan of Liara over Tally. I just am. I know that there are Tally fans there everywhere. I just like Liara more. Her character is completely different in every game. I just needed to say that. But yeah. Yeah.
Work in plain sight, but the most functional and reusable of all is the humble toilet. You're telling me every building has a room with one door and no windows? Excellent. Ledges and fences can be vaulted by pressing space or holding shift as you run towards them. The same goes for windows, but breaking them creates a lot of noise. They facilitate movement, but being waist high, they give up your position as well. Ventilation shafts are completely silent and let you navigate around buildings. Doors are deceptively
completely
but
silent?
don't actually make any noise when opening or closing, except when you bash them open. Timing this with a passing patrol is an instant knockout. Enemies will leave their patrol route and investigate if they hear or spot something suspicious.
No, this is actually
an
cool.
Opportunity to lure them into the open. For example, I can leave a door open, switch off the lights, and hide in the closet. When a junkie comes to investigate the open door, he notices the dark room and tries to find the light switch. As he passes by, I burst through the closet, drag him to the bathroom, and curb stomp his face. However, most situations aren't so ideal. When there's no cover to be found, press Control to go prone. You can't attack while prone, but the trade-off is drastically reduced detection. Combine it by crawling under a bush in some darkness, and you're almost invisible. Provided you're right below them, you can also slide past security cameras. If you're ever unsure of how much noise you're making or how much light is on your character, you can always check the indicators on the bottom left.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Is a non-lethal pistol whip. Holstering your weapon with H switches you to the best silent weapon in the game. Steve's ripped up, roided out body. Punching an enemy from behind is an instant knockout. 2, if you surprise him from a front or sides. Right click is a kick, which you can abuse by camping doors. Just be warned, enemies can also do it. Steve searches the drug den, but doesn't find anyone who killed his brother. This marks the main structure of a mission. Enter the scene, confront your target, and exfiltrate. Revenge is expensive, and we need money. Along the way, you can find secondary objectives, such as schematics, loose cash, jewelry, compromising material, and cryptocurrency. Unfortunately, every crypto wallet is at the end of its pump and dump, and every chat log only incriminates a low-tier Minecraft YouTuber at best. You might also encounter the Mini Easy. If you want new guns for later missions, you have to exfiltrate with them first. Explanation, you're doing illegal shit, so you probably need an unregistered weapon with a scrubbed serial number. There's unique weapons across every level, and it's a matter of personal preference. But I do hope that one day you'll discover the joys of a Ruger MK4. Master gave Dobby the blicky with a switch. Dobby is now a free elf. This is a good time to mention that Zed automatically loots ammunition, and Tilda lets you cycle between different varieties for your current weapon.
How dare you say Zed? That made me so mad. Come on. We only speak American. American!
Blicky with a switch. Dobby is now a free elf. This is a good time to mention that Zed automatically loots ammunition, and Tilda lets you cycle between different varieties for your current weapon. In this case, between standard 9mm and positive P over pressure. Reloading with R doesn't magically save bullets. It throws out your current magazine on the floor.
Oh, it's one of those.
With whatever you have. There's no time to hand load ammunition. The magazine will make more of an echo to indicate how close you are to going dry. For added control, Alt cycles your fire mode. This is especially important to higher caliber rifles, where recoil will kill you before the enemy. Progress.
Recoil?
These are limited permission, and you unlock more as you progress or reach a checkpoint. Honestly, I love the system. It forces you to live with your decisions and keep going. I've had some of the most fun just because I couldn't go back on my mistakes. Pro tip, I got really frustrated with how I had to manually name each save file, which would reset after checkpoints. Turns out, I'm a knuckle dragger and had no reason to do that, because F5 quick saves and F9 quick loads. Steve returns home empty-handed and receives an anonymous phone call, which isn't very anonymous at all, because I can see their portrait. They call themselves the Accomplice, even though I can clearly see this is Kurt Cobain. They claim that they've also lost loved ones, and the police have done nothing about it, offering Steve their assistance in tracking down those responsible, and also access to a Jabka warehouse with enough guns to scare the ATF. This is incredibly convenient, but I'm not complaining, because now we have access to loadouts. All the money you collect from missions
Still
can be spent
convenient.
on tools and weapon attachments. Each upgrade is
I
a
saw that
one-time
throwing
cost,
knife.
so you don't have to worry about dropping them in the field. According to the accomplice, one of the men that killed his brother was spotted on CCTV. After 34 days of intense training, Steve deploys to his next mission. You can choose anything you want for a loadout, but here's a recommendation. Guns are loud, and the only thing that comes close to silent is the Brugger and Fomet VP9. It's integrally suppressed. The original use was to put down sick animals, but it works on people too. It's chambered in 9mm subsonic. The only problem is the lack of ammunition. However, we can switch our mini Uzi to 9mm subsonic as well, giving us an extra 64 pulls of a trigger. Why do I like this gun? Because it's a one-shot silent kill from behind. But primarily, we won't be popping heads, just light bulbs, because once you hit tab, darkness becomes your best friend. No matter the loadout, night vision goggles are standard issue. Enemies might have flashlights, but they can't see in the dark. For gadgets, I take the HSR EMP to glitch out cameras without suspicion, the taser for non-lethal takedowns at range, and a throwing knife, because I give up my non-lethal run halfway into each mission. Aside from this, I take a Kevlar plate. It's not that noisy, and each time you forget you're wearing it, you'll be glad you remembered. To be clear, this is the difference between dying from 2 bullets instead of 1, but hey, every little bit counts. Additionally, armor lets you heal off damage. Red is your actual health. Getting shot turns it to yellow, which is potential health if you take a moment to recover. Please note, in the middle of combat, you do not have this luxury. The music gives you context clues to how you're doing. If you're incognito, it's calm and peaceful. It gets tense if a level is starting to get suspicious, and the moment an unsuppressed round is fired, the track goes loud.
Ooh.
Also, Steve knows how to pick locks now. This is called character development.
Bro, who is this man?
But you're vulnerable in the process. If you're in a hurry, you could choose to break the lock instead, making a bunch of noise in the process. Most locks are indoors, but there's also breaker boxes that let you kill the lights for an entire building. Unlike broken lights, power outages don't arouse suspicion, but they do force patrols to walk outside and flip back the breaker, during which time you can sneak inside or incapacitate them. The mission goes without a hitch. We find one of our brother's killers who leaks the location of another. First, we make sure he's telling the truth. Then, we ventilate him. We fail to find him, but stumble on his dealer, who says he's getting his supply from a serious operation by the nickname Shopkeeper. Following our second lead to a port warehouse, we find the man who started all this.
Okay, so this is all the first game, right? Okay. Alright, I'm following. Hold up. Wait a second. I had an important call. So, alright. I don't even remember what I was saying, so.
Who ordered the attack on you and your brother. After a heartfelt recollection, we send him straight to hell. Surprisingly, this doesn't improve Steve's mental health. The kill sends Steve into a rage, as he intravenously injects 50cc trenbolone acetate directly into his cock vein. This event unlocks his special perk.
What? So is this like the Punisher game that I always wanted but could never get? Is that what this is? Because I really want a Punisher game. I wouldn't want it in this style. I'm sorry. Hold on. This was all just the tutorial for the first game? What?
Balloon acetate directly into his cock vein. This event unlocks his special perk, Die Hard. Whenever you're outnumbered in a gunfight, your adrenaline kicks in and you go into slow mode. Usually, this triggers at the worst possible time. So
Die Hard is a great name for an ability.
In slow motion. Steve is understandably traumatized. I can relate to this. When I was 15, I landed on the dark web, and I saw so many Chinese industrial accidents that it left an impression on me. This is the equivalent of Illidan taking in the Eye of Sargeras. I was awakened to things I shouldn't know. Or maybe I'm overreacting, as everybody else took it differently. My friends would see a man.
Bro, what kind of trauma are you going through, my guy? And I'm afraid to hear what he's about to say. I am so afraid.
And cook to a crisp from touching the live electrical wire. And send me a one-line response on Skype. Nerve gas. Unsatisfied, Steve vows to take down as many drug peddlers as possible with the help of his trusty accomplice. Once we pursue the shopkeeper, the game reaches its highest complexity. This is no longer low-end drug trafficking. This is organized crime. Accordingly, we don't have random goons. We have security details with Kevlar and automatic weapons. There's cameras everywhere, magnetic key cards for checkpoints, and every person on the map is radioed in. If they say a single word, the entire level is on lockdown. Stealth is heavily encouraged. In fact, it's your only option. You're playing the real game now, and there's nothing left to teach you. So let's finish up the story. Shopkeeper handles production, or at least he used to. Baker is responsible for distribution. However, he's the only one who expresses any remorse for his actions and promises a favor if you let him go. This is the one and only choice to spare someone in the first game, and I recommend you take it. Finishing your vengeance spree, you return to the peace of your domestic life and watch slop on TV. Then your apartment gets broken into by several hitmen sent to kill you. Despite the length of it, this is easily one of my favorite missions. Also, the song is a banger. The last one alive tips you off that he got the job
stone
from
cold.
Empathetic. Shopkeeper, Baker, Empathetic. Everyone in this game works off ridiculous nicknames. What's next? Candyman? Sugar? Quasimodo? You try to call a conflict for answers, but the phone is dead. Steve is mildly stressed from his experience and has a quick smoke to clear his head.
Oh my God.
Baker is the only one that picks up. Grateful for your mercy, he gives you access to the black market and a new hideout, as he lies low and hides from his former colleagues. You assault Empathetic's restaurant and hold him at gunpoint. He refuses to break confidentiality, but points you in the direction of someone who can. An undercover cop knows where the hit came from, but his cover is blown, and he won't spill the beans until you wipe out the mob he's infiltrating. One hand washes the other. To nobody's surprise, you haven't been receiving the support of a benevolent millionaire. Instead, you've helped a crime boss wipe out his competition. You're the only loose end. Your final objective? Kill everyone, including the accomplice. But not before injecting him with enough heroin that he can't possibly hold a firearm, and writing a dubious letter where your handwriting is visibly different from the rest. Regardless, the courts are paid off, and his crackhead wife lives happily ever after. At the very least, you've kept drugs off the street. Kids will no longer fall prey to Flintstone gummy vitamins, or the dreaded Oblivicart. Booth of the Year edition. I just realized I explained the entirety of Intravenous 1 to contextualize the events of the second, when a story is secondary and doesn't actually matter. What does matter is starting the second campaign on true difficulty, which doesn't mean arbitrarily harder. It means we've intentionally handicapped the AI for every other difficulty to prepare you for playing on normal. Drop bodies, make noise. Enemies notice missing patrols, react faster, and shoot harder. Everyone dies quicker. Bleeding can turn you into a cripple, and you have almost no save files, just as it was always meant to be. Sean is a normal Bishonen protagonist living in the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Your father needs ivermectin to treat his river blindness, but at $3 a pack for a one-time treatment that will completely cure his condition, he simply can't afford it. Out of options,
different
he decides
protagonist.
to become a hitman for Empathetic, only taking the jobs that he feels are morally justified. Your first objective is to kill a construction contractor that keeps scamming people by embezzling their money, asking for more to finish the job, and ghosting them when no more can be paid. This is exactly like gypsies in the Baltics. And call me prejudiced, but if it was me, you wouldn't have to pay me. Next, you're told to liquidate a politician who's allegedly involved in child trafficking. However, the hit goes wrong. Confronting the man, you find no evidence of the charges. You've been fed bullshit to kill a rival politician. You back out of a job only to find out your dad has been kidnapped. You're being blackmailed into killing people, and if you don't comply, they'll kill your father. By chance, Sean encounters Steve. Both of their names alliterate to SS, a reference to the Schutzstaffel. They form a dynamic duo. Steve is an infamous anabolic roid hog that single-handedly wiped out free mobs, and Sean has glass bones, paper skin, severe anemia, and he has an inhaler for his asthma.
I'm missing.
Has glass infamous SS, a ref father. By chance, to kill a rival politician. You back out of a job only to find out your dad has been kidnapped. You're being blackmailed into killing people, and if you don't comply, they'll kill your father. By chance, Sean encounters Steve. Both of their names alliterate to SS, a reference to the Schutzstaffel. They form a dynamic duo. Steve is an infamous anabolic roid hog that single-handedly wiped out free mobs, and Sean has glass bones, paper skin, severe anemia, and he has an inhaler for his asthma. Together, they're gonna find Sean's dad, and maybe somewhere along the way, they'll discover their feelings for each other. It's
Oh my
worth
God.
mentioning there's light RPG mechanics where you get better at something the more you do it. Lockpicking,
Oh, so
load bearing,
okay.
reloading, and recoil control for differently sized guns.
Ooh, I don't
Steve
know
is
that.
combat seasoned. Sean is the equivalent of a polio victim in Treblinka. Naturally, he serves to benefit from Steve's experience, but Steve has only just
So
met
this
her,
is like
so you have to build up trust between
what,
missions
like the
by
Dishonored
sparing
2
parts
of this
and avoiding
type of game?
bystanders such as civilians and public officials. That's the new feature of Intravenous 2. Mixed populations. They're civilians and
Ooh.
combatants. Some would argue they're the same thing, but Steve doesn't like you harming innocents. Wait, Steve, what exactly is your fatality rate? Dad might die if I don't comply with the kidnappers, but he's not exactly going to train my stats. And, worst comes to worst, our medical fees have just gone down. Sean takes the blackmail contracts and fumbles them, while Steve takes side missions to investigate their identity. Between missions, you return to your incel warehouse, where there's nothing to do except knock out lights with a soda can and watch whatever's on TV.
I don't get this.
After rescuing your dad, he's also in the hideout, so you can continue to disappoint him. I freed you, Papa. You're my captive now. We give him control of the TV, and he's pretty happy about that.
The
However,
JD
he
Vance
doesn't
stuff is
realize you can
hilarious.
skip adverts
But
and
please,
watches them in their
I
entirety.
don't want to
Most
see
parents
this
would be
man's
like,
face.
Let go of grudges. Come back, my boy. Your dad just encourages you. Honestly, he doesn't even mind that you're a hitman. Things really are different in Poland. Life has no value because death is meaningless. You just respawn at the nearest Biedronka. Anyway, we find a politician responsible for these shenanigans and put him down. Sean cries softly from realizing it's all over, but his face stings from a lip filler. Instead of planting a kiss, Steve wraps Sean in his bear-like embrace, and they get married. The end. Mechanically, there's a lot to love about this game. This bear-like embrace, and they get married. The end.
Okay.
Mechanically, there's a lot to love about this game. Every system.
I don't believe that for a second,
once
but
you understand the enemy AI,
whatever.
it becomes a beautifully controlled chaos. Enemies don't know where you are. Where they think you are is your last visual sighting and any source of noise. For example, I could kill the lights, shoot at a group, and jump out the window. As a second group loops around to flank me, they're hit by blind fire from a first. If they take losses, they'll become more cautious. Instead of following you into your kill corridor, they'll use their superior numbers and camp outside. There's a couple of anomalies here and there. If you
is there any explosives I haven't noticed?
The guy gets suspicious, turns the light back on, and continues shitting. But generally, it's incredibly competent. Both campaigns are sick. There's a reason this game is so highly rated. It's not that long and very replayable. The writing is serviceable, but it's never the focus. Although, at one point, Sean does swallow a GPS tracker, and that's relevant to the story, so that's pretty cool. I knew a guy who did something similar, except instead of a GPS, it was other men's semen. I could go on for another 10 minutes discussing every loadout, every weapon, and whether an infrared laser combined with a 9mm caliber conversion is worth the money. The short answer to which is yes. To save you the time, the optimal build is to go fully unarmed with one taser and electrocute your testicles. In summary, it insists upon itself. 0 out of 10. In all seriousness, this is a game with a microphone slider, so you can attach a $1 Xbox clip-on microphone to alert the entire level. It's amazing. I thoroughly recommend Intravenous 2, which will be going on a 33% sale. And I doubly recommend the Remaster DLC, which is probably on a 20% discount. Together, they come to about $22 or the price of 6 packs of Marlboro Red here in Bosnia. I've already put 60 hours into this. It's worth it. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned.
What the hell is that?
A warm thanks to the many members of the Merchants Guild generously funding and bankrolling these videos. You're all truly wonderful. Have a good
there's
one.
More. Hold on, this is a lot. Is this just the names? Okay. All right. I'm definitely going to pick up this game. I don't know if I'm going to pick up the Quasimorph thing because that might be a little bit too extreme for me. The more I'm thinking about it, no. But yeah, I might definitely pick up this game in its entirety and play that for, I don't know, maybe the rest of the week. I've been heavily on Marvel Rivals for the season 2. even though no one is allowing me to play as Emma Frost. But hey, this was pretty good. This is pretty good. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything, but maybe it's just all the names. Yeah, it's just all the names. All right. Another fantastic Seth video. This is hilarious as usual. Yeah, I'll definitely pick this up, but yeah. Let me know if I actually should do a video on my gaming channel. But yeah, that's pretty much it.